Get in here, get in here, get in here, in the immortal words of Jason Lee. If you haven't already heard the news that there has been 8 whistleblower bombshell leaks within the last week and even up to last night involving every aspect of Donald Trump's orbit, from his family, his White House, and cabinet. And this is coming from the administration, by the way, that campaign on integrity, accountability, transparency. They've been everything but. From January 20, 2025 to today, there has been nonstop stream of court rebukes, congressional oversights, emoluments clause violations, corruption, just nonstop. So if you haven't been keeping up, grab some tea or coffee, your libation of choice, grab a pad and pen. Let's get into it. I'll catch you up to speed. Good thing you either follow me, someone sent you this video, or it came across the stream. It's your lucky day. First, you probably already knew that New York Times reporter Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan that are coming out with a book called Regime Change Inside the Imperial World of Donald Trump. I think that's the title. And leading up to that, they're releasing these bombshell investigative reports. The first one came out last week. It involved someone leaked that the Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, who used to be the deputy FBI director, then AG Pam Bondi, his deputy, Todd Blanche, Susan Wiles, who's the chief of staff, used the situation room in the White House, usually reserved for like discreet diplomatic talks or sort of like really high level things, to plot. It reads like from their article, it looks like a RICO squad. It's the RICO. It looks like a conspiracy to commit crime, conspiracy to conceal the fact that Donald Trump was in and out the Epstein files, and specific salacious details that they wanted to uncover. So we now know why Todd Blanche is going above and beyond to not prosecute anyone, not do anything. This guy wants to be AG. Anyway, I digress. You want to go read the report, but that's the first one. And right now, they don't know who the leaker is. They also don't know if the leaker recorded this. This room you're not supposed to record, but somehow someone has a lot of details and they don't know what part it is, so they're scrambling to use this right now. This is a major scandal. That's the first one. The second one, the article that came out yesterday or 2 days ago, Stephen Miller, that ghoul, and what's the other guy? Will Sharp, the White House secretary, came up with a plan to purposefully violate the United States Constitution in order to deprive residents who are entitled to due process their rights and ability to speak to a lawyer and get in front of a judge and have their case heard. They wanted Donald Trump to abuse his executive power from the get-go, which he kind of already did. He's been doing nonstop, in a way that the United States Supreme Court had already said in the Alien Enemies Act case I think it was last March or something like that, April, they cannot do that. All 9 justices said you have to give people habeas corpus right. They wanted to suspend it just for the purposes of expediting removals. And you already know, if you follow me, Alien Enemies Act, they took a bunch of Venezuelan men. 70% of them have no criminal background. Now, let's talk about suspending habeas corpus. Had they been given the right, had they entitled to, they could have defended themselves. They would not have been tortured for 100 days. That's what we're talking about. Right now, follow me. I have some updates coming up in my Legal L's for the week about that case that you want to watch as well. Actually, it's part of this roundup as well. And that's what he wanted to do, suspend, and it was unheard of. Donald Trump was going to go with it. And people were concerned that Stephen Miller, who's not a lawyer, was going to lead Donald Trump down a dangerous route of just really dangerous. And he has been. I'll talk about this all the time. If you follow me, I'm JD Legal. I monitor the lawsuits filed against the Trump administration and those the Trump administration filed against others to give you a sense of calm and take you beyond the headlines that the judges and the courts are working. And that's exactly what they do. They want to get around the judges, because last term, the judges in the court stopped their crazy tyrannical tear. This time, they're really going forward. But still, the judges, they have a lost record that's crazy. So you follow me, you want to know that. That's what I do. So that's the second scandal. And it doesn't stop. The next one may not be a leak, but part of the discovery process of Judge Jim Boasberg in D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals that's working on the Alien Enemies Act case. It was discovered that Todd Blanche, again, a fidelity to defend the United States government. There's so many examples of that. This man is only looking out for Donald Trump, and in a way that's unprecedented, because the Department of Justice is supposed to be independent. How do you know that? Because the Department of Justice during Biden's administration prosecuted his son. And you know that was not going to happen during this administration. That's the extent to which they're supposed to be independent. Instead, you have inside the Situation Room, Department of Justice AG and deputy plotting what looks like a conspiracy to commit crime and a cover-up. Crazy. Anyway, I digress. So that Todd Blanche and Emil Bouvet, he's a current Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. Yes, Donald Trump managed to put a bunch of his crazy sycophants that right now they're in there, Katz's, and all of them causing trouble. And he managed to get Emil Bouvet. But you blame the United States Senator because they knew this man had said F the judges and told his Department of Justice underlings. He used to be Donald Trump's criminal attorneys. Why are they letting his criminal attorneys go in there and just all they're doing is trying to protect Donald Trump and firing people? You'll get into that more later. Todd Blanche got busted. The things that Todd Blanche and Emil Bouvet did is the type of things that why not only should they lose their law license, this man is law licensed, this man is a judge, they also could go to jail for this. This is like crimes. Okay, so that's only scandal number 3. Imagine that. For the next 3, let's go to his family. Eric Trump, a text DM conversation he had with someone from the UFC exposed that he was trying to get inside information, asking if the games were rigged. And the person was like, this is not WWE. What are you talking about? What does that look like he was doing? Insider trading. We know we're trying to find out who was using Polymarket to make a lot of money off of oil based on insider information. That's an investigation coming. We thought it was Barron Trump, but TikTok, Trump family, because when we're going to find out every single thing. That was leak number 4. Don Jr., yesterday or 2 days ago, was filmed taking something out of his pocket, putting it in his nose. What it is, I don't know. There's been lots of speculation, but I'll leave it at that. But that was from a leak because someone just leaked out that video. And then finally, the other child, this is the number 6, this is number 5, Ivanka Trump, not a necessary leak, but there's massive Albanian protests against their prime minister giving the green light for Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner to develop sacred, protected environmental wetlands in Albania that's home to the sea turtles and home to the pink flamingo. They're trying to... She lied. They already called her lie. She's talking about she swam up. They discovered it. Columbuncing. This is like Columbuncing / neo-colonialism. You're trying to go into some other country and develop it. Then they don't want you there. They don't want you there. Get the hell out of here. The whole family is corrupt. All right, so that was 5. That was 6. The last 2. We already knew, and there's been actually evidence and reporting that rich and powerful men get together and make decisions. There are a lot of people think there's a secret cabal, whatever we know. But there is a conference, 200 elite men, including some Democrats were invited or registered. My governor, Wes Moore, was on the list, Cory Booker. And of course, some members of Donald Trump's cabinet, lots of top folks. And the topics covered everything from creating a cult to just every single thing you would think. And there's no media coverage on it. There is now. And no website, but they have registrations. This was leaked compliments of a well-known hacker. Thank you. Now we know we have all the names. It's not looking good, y'all. Anyway, so the last one I'm going to say, the one I say for last is Kash Patel. Kash Patel, a whistleblower. This one came out of Wired. He paid $1 million of our government funds to a secret group, some of them ex-FBI, not normal people from the FBI, his security details, essentially to keep them quiet on his alleged alcohol abuse. They accompanied on his dates, abusing the FBI helicopter, which he himself criticized his predecessor, Christopher Wray, for doing. And he's done it way more times. He wanted the Epstein files leaked or released when he was a podcaster. Now he's talking about there's nothing to see here. Hypocrisy. He burned through over $1 million of our taxpayer dollars paying a secret payback squad of ex-FBI that he found, his security detail, whether it's to keep them quiet because they were the ones that were accompanying him on these dates. We saw him use our taxpayer dollars to fly over to Paris to go party and have a kegger with the United States hockey team. He's routinely inept. The most recent one is this alleged plot against the UFC fight that he leaked and talked about before the Secret Service and all of the law enforcement agencies were able to get together and get their story together. And he did this in the Butler shooting. He did this with the Charlie Kirk. He actually came out during the National Guard shooting and said, we're going to look for this person while the person was actually already in the hospital. There's a news and update about that person as well now today. His debacle, because of what he said in the other assassination attempt at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, his words were used in the defense in terms of, he says, this happened to do with us, could potentially get Todd Blanche and Janine Pirro removed from the case because of something Kash Patel said. So he's a walking, talking incompetence. He should not have been there. Bill Barr told Donald Trump last term, when Donald Trump suggested elevating Kash Patel into a position, said absolutely not. So Bill Barr knew. We all knew. He's a joke. He's a podcaster. He had to release a book. The Crazy Eyes. Anyway, Crazy Eyes was giving $40,000 per agent, about 8 or whatever agents, giving them money. These are the ones who probably leaked the fact that they had to use a ramming bar to get into his apartment after his alleged overnight drinking binge. They alleged he has an alcoholic problem. You know, the Atlantic did that expose. He was denying and sued them. Truth is a defamation. Truth is a defense of defamation if you don't know. Anyway, I digress. Get my I digress merch if you're new here. I'm JJ Legal. I monitor the lawsuits filed against the Trump administration and those the Trump administration filed against others to take you beyond the headlines, to give you a sense of calm, to let you know the courts are working, and they are. And this is why, for example, in the early example I gave, that they were trying so much to go above and beyond to get behind, avoid congressional oversight, avoid judges. Judges follow the law, and they wanted to avoid the law as much as possible. So thank God for the judges and the lawyers and the independent media like myself and the actual journalists that work for the mainstream media. I know we give them a hard time, but the journalists are doing their job. Because of the journalists, we know about this, all of this that I'm talking about, this video, that he was abusing his power. So I'm not going to, instead of me explaining it, I think Nicole Wallace's summary, which reads a letter from Jamie Raskin, who got this whistleblower account, said to Kash Patel, it's so damaging. There's no reason he needs to be. This is the umpteenth scandal, by the way. And Kash Patel, as much of his incompetence, listen, let's watch Nicole Wallace do a nice little summary for us, shall we?
Shocking new reporting by MS Now's Ken Delanian finds that embattled FBI Director Kash Patel stands accused of using more than $1 million in taxpayer funds to reward the FBI agents who went after Patel's enemies and who covered up Kash Patel's misbehavior in office, weakening our nation's chief law enforcement agency in the process. Our Ken Delanian reports this about a letter that ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Jamie Raskin, sent to Kash Patel. It reads, quote, the letter says the money went to special agents serving on his director's advisory team, which Raskin's letter describes as, quote, a curated group of agents who are willing to carry out your unlawful partisan and personal orders. It went to agents on Patel's security detail, quote, circumventing the mandatory maximum pay caps established by statute. By issuing these side payments, your office may be knowingly breaking the federal law, the letter says. In some cases, nearly 8,000 payments have been made to nearly $8,000 payments have been made to multiple individuals every 2-week pay period, despite many of the beneficiaries of your selective generosity already maxing out on a federal employee's salary. The letter goes on to...
I just want to pause here to say those agents that were doing these violations and doing these activities, knowing, because a lot of them actually worked in the FBI and law enforcement, so they're very much aware that when Kash Patel tells them to do something illegal, when you do it, you can't use the excuse of ignorance of the law because you are an agent and you had to know that it was secret. You had to know. There's no way you couldn't know. So they've made the intent element. So they're going down. You don't have to believe me. They are.
To say it is unclear exactly how much each of the agents has received, but adds this, quote, "We can confirm that numerous loyalist employees have received at least 5 such payments in consecutive pay periods, amounting to nearly $40,000 per agent. We can also confirm you have depleted this reserve at such a frenzied rate that some of the payments have bounced back from exhausted accounts." Here's more from that stunning letter from Congressman James.
Before we get into more, that tells you how this is someone from the inside. There's leaked. So payments, if it's coming from the government, there's a lot of different people that know this. So it doesn't necessarily be one of these agents that leaked it, but the thing about it is processing. I have to say something about this on the other side in a second, but let's keep watching.
Here's more from that stunning letter from Congressman Jamie Raskin. Quote, "We know the agents on your director's advisory team, perhaps better known as the Payback Squad, given their reported willingness to pursue political targets and overlook pesky legal obstacles like probable cause, have received a significant amount of these funds. These Payback Squad lieutenants have repaid your corrupt generosity by polygraphing FBI employees, including members of your security detail and information technology personnel suspected of not fully participating in the cover-up of your excessive drinking habits and erratic behavior, such as the famous episode in which you locked yourself out of your computer, panicked, and then told staff and allies that you had been fired. For their part, the agents on your security detail have also witnessed your indiscretions when joining you on date nights and bro trips alike. It is not clear whether these bonus..."
I'm going to pause. I don't know if I said this already in this video, but this man criticized his predecessor, Christopher Wray, for what he said was abusing the jet. And date nights, bro trips, taking it to Paris to go party with the hockey team. And there's evidence that he's been using it way more in the non-official ways, our money, our tax dollars, every single time that costs us money. So this man is ridiculously corrupt. And someone said when I described this, that this could apply to any one of Donald Trump's cabinet, because the labor secretary stepped down because of those allegations that she too was abusing funds, that she too was having indiscretions with, that she shouldn't have been relationships wise, that created a toxic environment. And I'll get into that for Kash Patel's undermining the agencies, not showing up for work. And Kristi Noem, we saw what she did. Oh my God, let's keep going.
Payments have simply been a corrupt attempt to slide cash to friends, or whether they are also meant to ensure the silence of the agents who witnessed your inebriation and accompanying professional negligence and misconduct. Either way, these freelance awards appear to constitute gross mismanagement of public funds and an abuse of authority by the director's office. The FBI has not responded to MS Now's request for comment on Congressman Raskin's letter, but it is just the latest episode.
How do you come back from that? Every single thing they've been caught in, there's no way for them to come back to them. I'm the confirmation hearing for freaking Todd Blanche, if he doesn't step down before that, is going to be so interesting. I'm going to cover that live.
Alarms about Kash Patel's conduct and willingness to upend the FBI for his personal purposes. Kash Patel has hollowed out the FBI. He has repeatedly fired agents in key security positions for political purposes. A series of purges, which Ken Dilanian has called, quote, without precedent in the modern history of the Bureau. Yet another member of the Trump administration weaponizing his position and putting Donald Trump's agenda and his own grievances ahead of our country's security is where we begin today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. The aforementioned Justice.
Let's discuss below. I've said enough. This is crazy. JJ Legal, each one to share this video so more people know.